I'm Lonnie Emard. I'm the Executive Director of the Consortium for Enterprise Systems Management. IT professional and IT executive for 27 years, and looking forward to telling you more about POSSCON.
I'm Todd Lewis. I'm the chair of POSSCON 2010. I've been involved with this event for the last 3 years from beginning to end.
You know, Todd, as we've been planning this thing together, one of the things that we've done is expand this thing from the original idea to what we're hoping for this year here in Columbia, South Carolina at the Convention Center. Tell me a little from your perspective about how you've seen this growth and what you think it means to everyone in this developer community.
You bet. When we started this event, like most entrepreneurial endeavors, we did not know what was going to happen. We started in 2008, in July of that year. We planned for this event maybe 2 to 3 months. Again, weren't sure if anyone would even show up. We ended up having about 125 to 150 people show, which for us was tremendous. Anytime you can get 150 people together to talk software, we thought that was a good thing. We knew we were onto something. We decided to do it. We didn't wait an entire year, actually, in 2009. We went again July of 2008. We did it again in April of 2009, just 8 to 9 months later, and we doubled our attendance. We doubled the number of participants, and we doubled the number of sponsors in just 8 to 9 months, which again we thought was tremendous. The total number of attendees last year was about 250, and we have grown so fast that we've actually outgrown USC. In 2010, this year, we've had to move the event to the Columbia Convention Center, which is where we are now.
Now, as you know, the Consortium for Enterprise Systems Management as the major sponsor, and you're a member of that, and so is a lot of the universities here in the Southeast, as well as 30 or 40 major IT companies in the Southeast. Todd, how has that relationship benefited you in terms of marketing what we're talking about, in terms of trying to maybe even grow the number of tracks that are going to be present? I know there's at least 4 tracks that we're going to try to address. So why don't you talk about that for a few moments?
Again, along with developing any conference, the participation or content is always key. You have to have the people involved that will enable you to grow, that will position you to actually grow. We've been very fortunate to have partnered with the University of South Carolina, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Time Warner Cable. It said we've had major companies involved with this endeavor from the very beginning. This year especially, the Consortium for Enterprise Systems Management has come on board and is helping us with this event. Without that support, which is vital, we would not be here today talking. What that's enabled us to do is it's established some foundational credibility for us. People who are possibilities, who are potential sponsors and participants, are always looking at first, who else is involved? Who else is participating? Do I want to attach my name to something? Do I want to, would I potentially be embarrassed, etc.? So they look at those foundational partners and then make that determination, yes, I will be involved, or no, I won't. What the relationship with CESM has enabled, especially this year, is it's enabled a lot of, really the largest open source software companies in the country have now gotten involved with this event. Other schools, other colleges like Clemson, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, Augusta State, the College of Charleston, et cetera, have seen that, have seen the foundational type of participants, and then they have made the decision to get on board. Without that, without the initial core support, none of this would even be possible.
And Todd, that leads me to something else. We've talked a lot about the audiences. Who are we trying to reach? And I think, first of all, from a consortium perspective, we want to reach young people. So we've talked about students. Tell us a little bit about that audience attraction and even the Saturday day, which is kind of a training day. Tell us a little more about that.
From the very beginning, again, anytime you start a conference, you always have to ask, who is your target audience? From the very beginning, obviously because of the relationship with the university, we have decided to make students a priority. Students are always free at POSSCON. We will never charge them. If this event goes on, and hopefully it will for the next 10 to 20 years, students will never pay a dime to actually participate in our conference. The sessions will always be free. We'll feed you. Note to students, we will feed you for free. It won't cost you a penny if you show up to our conference. In addition to that, much like Lonnie just mentioned, Saturday, April the 17th is dedicated to training. It's not enough just to have kids sit in a classroom type setting and convey knowledge and information to them. It differs, it's no different than the actual classroom. The hands-on application is vital, and that's why we started the workshops on Saturday. Dedicated to students, dedicated to IT professionals. You can actually sit in and not only learn the information, take it to the next step and learn to apply it, which is absolutely of utmost importance.
Todd, that is a key message of the consortium, is that as anybody shares knowledge and becomes a more equipped professional in our discipline, which is information technology, it's not just about classroom learning, it's about hands-on experience and learning from the best. Now, the next audience that I think about, certainly you've always attracted the developer community. This is kind of, its hotbed. But tell me a little bit about your linkage to all the various Linux user groups and the various groups that are part of this development community.
Sure. One of the things that I've been most pleased with is the buy-in from the developer community. We have a saying at POSSCON and on our planning committee, developers, programmers are the lifeblood of IT, and they're certainly the lifeblood of innovation and open source. We have targeted this year developers specifically. We've got tracks dedicated just to programming, just to developing. We've got workshops dedicated just to programming. And again, we've got some of the top developers in the world coming to this event. On the local level, we've been so pleased with the buy-in, again, and the support from the local developer community. Groups like the Columbia Enterprise Developers Guild, which is Chris Ergel's group, the Ruby Brigade, which is Jason Dew's group. We've got the South Carolina Information Technology Directors Association, which is really IT directors in government. They've all bought in, they've all partnered with us. The VM Usersware group here that's based in Columbia has bought into this. They're now an official partner with us. All of those groups are encouraging their developers to attend this conference to get the education, to increase the levels of awareness and how they might apply open source to their business.
And that would be true, I would think, for all of those across the East Coast that need a nearby location to come and gain the benefit of this for a very inexpensive experience in the conference. Now, the next group I think about is my group. In other words, CIOs, CTOs, the business community at large. You know, we've really done a lot to try to impress upon them that there are predecessors. There are those who have gone before them and figured out where does open source software fit for my company, fit for my development community, how does it fit in terms of if I go ahead and buy a commercial product from a Red Hat or so forth, what are some of the issues that I'm going to be concerned about and what are we going to talk about that day?
It's never good for business or business managers, IT managers, or decision makers, people at the decision-making level, to operate in a silo. If you operate in that way, you never learn best practices, and best practices are so important. What a conference like this provides you is an opportunity to learn from your peers, learn what other people have done utilizing, in this case, open source software. The reason that open source software is so integral and so important to business executives, those in decision-making positions, is that budget constraints have never been more prevalent. Do you know an organization or a government entity that is not under budget constraints right now? They have huge concerns. They're laying people off. IT directors are now put in a very awkward position, a very tough position to be quite honest about it, of do I lay people off and then do I shift those responsibilities to the people that I have left, or do I simply make the decision to integrate newer, cheaper technology into my operations? I think many of them, for the first time, are saying, you know what, that laying off thing is not so good. Let me look at cheaper technology that still accomplishes security, functionality, all the major components that you look for in software, but that is becoming more and more prevalent, more and more important. And again, to be quite honest with you, open source has never been more important than it is today for those very reasons.
Between what we're doing for the business community, the education community, the most important, the developer community, and teaming up with people in the media, with people in economic development, with the chamber, with all those folks that want to welcome you in terms of tourism, I think this event is going to be something really special. I can't wait. What about you, Todd?
Absolutely. Again, we've spent 3 years on this. This is the year for us. There's a tipping point in every endeavor, and I truly believe that this year is it. We've partnered with really every major organization on a local level. We've got huge sponsors. Again, the very best open source companies in the world, the biggest and the brightest, the true thought leaders are coming to Columbia, South Carolina in this convention center for this conference. I'm elated. I've seen it grow from the very beginning. It's gone from 100 people and a planning committee comprised of about 4 people to what it's going to be this year, which again, really the sky is truly the limit.
Can't wait to see you.